Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. A Marvel vs. DC crossover. Would you like to see it? Since James Gunn has been announced as the co-chair of DC Studios, that conversation has arisen yet again. And I'm getting these questions. Mick, do you think we'll ever get a Marvel and DC crossover ever? Will we ever get that movie? Now, this is not something that really gets me up in the morning or excites me, but I'm not against it either. So if this was to happen, this would be very complicated in terms of the two studios who own the Marvel Studios IPs and the DC IPs. So that's Warner Brothers Discovery and Disney. First of all, let's look at the two CEOs of the separate companies. So Bob Chapek is the CEO of Disney, and David Zaslav is the recent new CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, Chapek would want to make a diverse, an extreme left type of movie, because that's kind of the direction that Disney are coming from. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. And, Chapek would want to make a progressive movie, where Zaslav comes from the old school of Hollywood, where he says, give the people what they want. Give them what they want, make a great entertaining movie, we'll make big bucks, they're happy and we're happy. So that would be a problem, because they come from different, they would be pulling on opposite directions. Then you've got to ask the question, who would be running this movie? James Gunn, Peter Safran, or Kevin Feige? Now, luckily, Feige and Gunn are very good friends. Feige gave Gunn a great opportunity, and Gunn coming out yesterday saying that Kevin Feige was the first person he told about his new position as co-chair at DC Studios, and him making some throwaway comment of not agreeing about the DC Marvel rivalry. Well, James, I think because you're American, you don't really understand what banter and rivalry really means. There's nothing toxic. Where the fans are concerned, there's nothing toxic in the DC and Marvel rivalry. It's a bit like going to a Manchester United and Liverpool game. We hate you, Liverpool. We hate you, Manx. It's harmless. And without it, you don't sell as many tickets for football games. It's what motivates fans. So it's okay, James. It's okay to have fan rivalry. It's good and it's healthy. Now, James said something else about Marvel and DC, keeping movie theatres going. Now, from a certain point of view, James, you have a good point. But also, let's not forget that the MCU dominates too many screens, because this is what Disney wants, and blocks out other movies, independent movies, movies with more variety, something that Martin Scorsese has spoken about, something that Quentin Tarantino has spoken about. So a bit of a bad take there from James Gunn. I love you, James. I'm happy you're co-chair of DC Studios. It was a bad take. Let's get back to the matter at hand. And so you've got these really complicated issues with two different companies holding these IPs. So it will be a very challenging thing to pull off. Now, for me, it is absolutely not the time to start coming up with a DC Marvel crossover, because DC needs to get its house in order. Right now, this DC universe we have, which started with Man of Steel, isn't a franchise in any stretch of the imagination. As I say every day on this channel, the DCEU has great movies, it truly does, but it isn't nowhere near what it should be. The MCU has got it right. Phase 4 hasn't been great, but it's got it right in terms of a franchise that brings in a variety of audiences and people. And that's how they make money. They make it fun. They make it exciting. They have crossovers. And that's how it works. And you're going to see some of that in their latest film, Wakanda Forever. And that film is going to make a lot of money. No question about that. There's no debate. So in terms of money, yes, you could see a situation with David Zaslav and Bob Chapek go, yeah, let's do one now. Personally, as I say, I don't think it's the right time from the DC perspective to start talking DC and Marvel crossovers. It's not the time. First of all, James Gunn, Peter Safran, David Zaslav, Pam Adby and Mike DeLuca have to sit down and construct an interconnected franchise, both via the movie theatre and your television screen. I want to see the streaming stuff. I want to see the TV stuff all connected. And also, I want to see the animation all connected with the live action in one big DC universe. And I think this is the plan. So it's a good thing that Gunn and Safran are actually in charge of TV, animation, and movies. And I think that's absolutely the right way to go. So they have to sit down and come up with a plan. They've been working on a plan since this summer because unofficially James Gunn and Peter Safran said yes to being the co-chairs of DC Studios back in the summer. So all the rumours about Dan Lin, which we thought might have been true, were absolute bullshit. He was an applicant and nothing more than that. So even though when I think about a DC Marvel crossover, like any fan, I think it will be really exciting. But it's how you execute these things, isn't it? And there's no question about that. I mean, we can talk about what that would look like. Do you have the Justice League, and the Avengers together in a movie? Do you have a Hulk and a Doomsday movie? Listen, there's a lot of things you could do. I think if you did do a Marvel DC crossover, you need to start small, cross over a couple of characters. And also you have to decide, is the Marvel and DC universe kind of a thing on the same Earth, on Earth 1? Is it a multiversal thing that one franchise crosses into the other? These are all, complicated decisions you would have to make. And then there's going to be fans saying, I want this, I want that, I want the other. And what you choose to do is obviously very, very important. So even though I'm not against the DC Marvel crossover, I think we're talking over 10 years in the making. And it would be absolutely ridiculous to do one now with DC live action not being fit for purpose. And it's not. We have to get through these Hamada movies. James and Peter and the rest of them have to come up with a plan. They have to announce a slate. So I'm fully focused on DC, and I'm not very focused right now on a DC Marvel crossover. Now, when DC is in a fitter state, we can start discussing that again. So right now, it's not going to happen. But, of course, it helps that James Gunn and Kevin Feige are friends, that they've got this good communication between each other. Of course, that would be more helpful if they did want to do a Marvel and DC crossover, and that would help. Because Kevin Feige understands DC as much as he understands Marvel. But, as I say, with the two CEOs of these different studios coming from different, let's say, political backgrounds, and because the entertainment industry has become so political, every conversation has become political, that is an issue as well. It's new Hollywood who want to be progressive, and old Hollywood who want to entertain the fans, and as far as the fans are concerned, they'd rather be entertained. And David Zaslav has already made decisions to make that possible by firing Walter Hamada, by bringing in James Gunn and Peter Safran, and looking at the entertainment element. Now, if you left it up to James Gunn, I'm sure the DC universe would be more progressive. But here's the thing. He's in control, but at the end of the day, Zaslav is holding the leash, the chicken switch. If he doesn't like it, it doesn't happen. So I'm sure in the future, a DC Marvel crossover is in the planning. And I will be very excited about that when it's announced. They could be talking about it now, who knows? With Gunn at DC and Feige at Marvel, and them all seeing dollar signs and thinking, oh yeah, this would be amazing. Then, yeah, but I can't see this happening anytime soon, and that's my answer to that question. Now, going forward, I am looking to do videos like this daily, like I always do, and looking to do lives every evening. If you want more lives, you need to support these pre-recorded videos, and that will inspire me to do lives. This has been Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you again in the next video. Until we see each other again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.